Hello and welcome to Cutting Words. I'm Brad Thompson, and today we're going to pick up where we left off with the Wild Beyond the Witchlight character creation. So we wrote the backstory. Let's get up here. Here we are. The backstory last video. So we went through this handy Google Doc template, and you can watch the video about that. I'll put a link to that here if you missed that. But we wrote our Callous Thorn Gauge. We wrote our Fairy Rune Knight Fighter. And wrote their backstory here. Now in this video we're going to pick this up for the next step now. We're going to go ahead and stat this character up. And a strange Fairy Fighter Rune Knight. Haha. The idea of going from a small fairy to a large fairy via the Rune Knight ability, then onto a huge fairy via the fairy's natural enlarge spell ability, amused me too much not to try it out. Whether the build's good or not, should be fun though, nonetheless. Alright, so we'll get up D&D Beyond, which is the online character builder. I highly recommend. It's dndbeyond.com. Rather than going through pen and paper and the books and whatnot, we got this. It's far more convenient, especially for making videos. All right, so character name, Callous Thorn Gauge. All right. Homebrew content, no. Let's leave those dials alone. Optional class features, we'll turn these extra customizations on from Tasha's, just in case. Alright, milestone leveling, yep. One fixed. Yep, feats, multiclassing, that's all fine. Alright. Next page. Choose a race. Alright, but the fairy. So the fairy, there's a few things going for the fairy. So this is the new races in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight book. So they are a fae, which is fantastic because the spells they target only humanoids, like Hold Person and Dominate Person and things like that, that specify only affecting humanoid creature types, do not affect you because you are a fae. Which is pretty good. Let's see. Size, small, which isn't great for a fighter, but it's an amusing aspect of this because we can change size. We're staying from a small size and working our way up to a huge size. Alright. Speed, 30 feet. Which is actually quite nice. A lot of small races normally have the penalized walking speed, but fairies don't, which is nice. Alright, and we've got fairy magic. So we start with Druidcraft, we can make flowers and stuff. And at third level we'll get the fairy fire. Nifty for finding invisible people and stuff, and giving strap advantage. And then finally, at fifth level, what we'll be using, most of all, is the enlarge aspect of this enlarge reduce spell on ourselves to get us all the way from the small to large to huge. Just to be a ridiculously big fairy. Wrestle dragons and such. Alright. Cool, and then we've got flight. Because your wings, your flying speed equal to your walking speed. Alright, so choose the fairy race. And I don't think there's any optional things because fairy race is designed to be optional for a lot of things. Alright, so the only option here, it's highlighting here to let me know there's a choice to be made. So we need to choose what our spellcasting ability is. So what's so between Charisma, Intelligence, and Wisdom, they'll determine our DCs for our Fairy Fire and our Enlarge Reduce. So Callous doesn't strike me as being particularly charismatic or intelligent. So if I had to choose between the three, and without being strong in any of them really, I'll probably go for Wisdom. As any spare points, I'll probably throw in Wisdom to get that up, being the most out of those three, the most coming up, most ability stat comes up for saving throws and, you know, perception checks, things like that. So if I had to pick one of those three, we'll probably go for wisdom. Alright. I mean, it's not going to be the most optimized character, but when we can, we might as well optimize it. We'll need every help it can get. Let's see here. Fighter. So our class is Fighter. So DC hit die. Cool. Saving throws, strength, and constitution. Good, because constitution will help us concentrate on our large spell when we get it. And stay big. Okay. So at level 1, we're just getting, we can choose a fighting style, and we have a second win ability, which is once per short rest, we can use a bonus action to heal ourselves a bit, just a little bit, a D10 plus our fighter level. And eventually we'll get things like action surge and whatnot as we go up, which is pretty good. But right now, we've just got level 1 stuff. So add that to class. Alright. Just turn on these optional Tasha's features, which is a way of just automatically having everything on. Okay. Let's see. So proficiency. So yeah, these are the so we get 2 skills from the fighter class. Let's see. So we got acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. So we get choose 2, and we get 2 more from our background, which we're going urchin for the background. So those are already determined. We'll go over that when we get to the background part. But out of these, I think we'll go for athletics. Because being a Rune Knight Fighter Fairy, the plan is to be strong and be able to push people over, grapple people, and potentially even fly up. You can grab people and fly up with them and then drop them, which seems too amusing to do. And you can because you can turn big as well. You can grab giants, fly up with them, and toss them off cliffs or what have you. Wrestle dragons, fly from wrestle a dragon to the ground, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty amusing, and athletics helps with that. So we'll grab that for those contested athletics checks for grappling, and we will go. The other one, perceptions always comes up. But spot things is very useful. So always great perception out of those. Always useful skill to grab. Alright. And that goes off wisdom as well, which we chose for our spark casting ability. So we'll have some wisdom up our sleeve probably. Alright, fighting style. Alright, so we choose 1 fighting style. So we're going with Strength Fury. Because yep, we're grappling and flying and doing all those ridiculous things. So we're not going to go with things like archery, as much as flying fighter would lend itself more to a dex build and peppering people with arrows. We're going for, we want to get up in people's grills, we want to grab people, push them over, fly off with them, and as well as tanking and be kind of a party tank as opposed to flying around peppering things with arrows. So we're not going to go for that. Blind fighting is a new one in Tasha's that came out, and I'm having great success with that in another campaign where I'm playing a Triton Paladin who can racially cast Fog Cloud, and then you can use Blind Sight to for the blind fighting to see through the fog and fight with advantage, and no one can target him with spells and things like that. Just be able to, yeah, and there's also blind fighting's come up quite a bit for. Comes up more than you think actually. Once you get it, when you have it, you notice, oh wow, this comes up quite a lot actually, where you spot things you can't normally see, invisible folks, or just see through magical darkness or what have you. Blind fighting, is very useful. It's the gift that keeps on giving, I found when I did use it. But for this, because this Fairy has Fairy Fire, so we have some options to make this a little redundant. So we don't need to pick it up. Also, we have no capability of making fog or darkness or anything to hide in. So it's less appealing. I think of all of these, we will go for Defense. The solid but boring one. The +1 AC, as the Fairy will need every help it can get. Because if we're flying, we're not wearing our armor. We'll probably have to put on light armor, which means our AC is going to suck. So this will help it a little bit, help us survive. The good but boring option, can't go wrong with defense. All right. Next. The ability scores, let's see what we can do. So we get to choose either standard array, manual rolled, or point buy. So majority of games, at least I have been involved in, have been point buy. More lately in my groups, at my tables, we've been transitioning more to rolled as a fun session zero activity. We're rolling stats and but also we get to like choose these other people's rolls. So it's a bit fairer as opposed to roll crap and this person rolled amazing. We level it out, but it's a bit of fun to roll stats at session zero. It's a fun activity there. But for the sake of this, we'll go point buy because I'm not going to roll a bunch of stats and now for this. But let's go point buy, which gives a bunch of points to spend to increase our stats. So, as well as for the fairy, we get to choose either 3 1-point increases or an increase of 2 and an increase of 1. There's the flexible origin step bump choices they have now since the implementation of Tasha's. That's transitioning things more this way. Alright, so I think we'll go 2-1. Try that. And the 1 will be Constitution, because tank, more hit points is good, as well as with the Rune Knight, all of the abilities in Rune Knight trigger off Constitution for the saving throw for the abilities, so we've got to have a decent con score. And Strength, because we're going for a Strength Fairy. Alright, unfortunately, I think what's going to end up happening is, let's have a look here. I go 15, yeah, we're 15, let's try to get to 15s. There goes a lot of our points straight away. So even numbers give us is what we want, because that's what gets us the stat bump for the next number. So every even number is an extra +1. So this is giving us a +3 con right now. Every number above 10. And 17 is giving us also +3, but it's 1 step away from reaching the +4. But it's costing us a few points to get the extra 1. So we get 2 points back if we lower it, which we might end up doing to get some stats that relatively work here. So Dex, we're definitely kind of negative Dex because we're going to be flying around with an armor on sometimes. I think I might have to invest more points in Dex, which is not the worst because Dex is pretty good. All right, so we need some Wisdom. I think we're going to have to leave Intelligence and Charisma at 8. I normally play high Charisma characters, so this is going to be fun. All right. So we go like that. So we're +1, +1. 1 left over. Yeah, I think we're going to have to lower this down. Boop. And there we go. So we get the Dex to there. I think we have to go like that. So the benefit of having an odd number would be to set yourselves up for a feat that gives you a +1 stat bump and an extra ability or something like that at level 4 when you get that option. But that level 4 seems so far away. And the fighter does get extra feat slot at level 6. So we'll just go for good right now as opposed to good for the future. So we've got 16 strength, so it gives us +3 strength. We got +2 dex, got +3 con, -1 intelligence, +1 wisdom, and -1 charisma. So we've got a muscle bound, fit fairy, yeah, absolute meathead. They got very very dirt, but a little bit of wisdom to them from life on the streets and whatnot. Yeah, all right. Not my usual cup of tea, but sure, sounds fun. Nice to mix things up. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. Because what we're trying to do is we need strength and dex. Ideally, like, a dex build will be more efficient, but we want to be able to have extra strength to grab people and do things with, and potentially have the option to maybe take grip away from fighting feats later down the line. So strength is what you need. So there we go. We'll be able to do that. All right. So languages. So Callus was raised as a halfling, so we'll go with halfling language for the other language. All right. And background, we went with urchin. There we go. So the skills from urchin also sleight of hand, stealth, go off dex as well. So having a dex score, which we've got +2 on, which is respectable, is pretty good. As well as thieves tools, also dex. So yeah, that's pretty good. As well as dex, you know, is a fantastic stat. It's initiative. Going first in combat's always good. As well as, yeah, it's a popular saving throw. And yeah, it's just, dex is very good. So it's nice having a decent dex score on Callus. Alright. So we don't need to change all the other details. So a lot of these other details, like extra character details, we've covered some of these things in the backstory sheet, like alignment and faith and whatnot. You can do the describing the characteristics, but there's a slot in the character sheet backstory for a picture. So you could find one online and put that on. Let's get this. Look over this. So you can put a picture here rather than describing all the little details. You can fill that stuff in, but I don't normally worry about a lot of those characteristics there, because I just rely on the backstory sheet for that, and that kind of forms the character, how I roleplay them, and what's going on with them. And I have a picture here, which you can always search up online for a picture, or I make one in like something like Hero Forge, which will yeah, have a look at a little bit later. But yeah, so that is that there. Go back to here. So we don't need to worry too much about these extra fields here. Like you can, if you want extra roleplay cues, do ideals, bonds, and flaws. But again, I normally just go off the backstory, and that informs how I roleplay the character. I don't normally use these, but there are options here, and you can put in some backstory notes. But I just found the Google Doc shared with the DM more efficient than this. All right, let's move on. Equipment time. All right, so we'll do some chainmail. Yeah. So we'll start off wearing armor, and the wings aren't in use, which I'm sure the Dungeon Master will very much appreciate, because no one likes flying characters at low level. And so start off, you know, the wings are hidden, and it'll be a dramatic reveal at some point during the game that the other players will realize, oh, they're playing what? You're playing a fairy this whole time, not a halfling? Haha. Yeah, those moments are quite cool to do, having little secrets to reveal at the table. All right, so that's 2 hand axes. Yeah, let's double down on all the strength stuff. Let's see, Explorer's pack. I feel like over Dungeoneering pack. Don't probably haven't done much Dungeoneering. All right, so urgent start equipment. Start with a pet mouse. I didn't know they get a pet mouse. That's pretty cool. A token remember your parents by. Yeah, actually, it could be quite relevant for the backstory I wrote where, yeah, they're looking for their real fairy parents. So that could be interesting. Or potential here. Anyway, edit the stone equipment. For stuff like this, though, you should definitely communicate that to your dungeon master rather than surprising them mid-session. Oh, hi, by the way, I got this token for my parents. What is that? And it's like, token? What are you talking about? Yeah, it's on my character sheet. What? You should probably mention that to the dungeon master so they can plan for that as opposed to surprising them. Same with the pet mouse. Mouse plot, best plot. All right, we'll add all that to inventory. Great, there we go. All the basics for survival already loaded up. Very convenient rather than going around, you know, flipping through the player's handbook looking for the gear to put in or whatever. That's yeah, just all automated. Perfect. So view the character at this point. Dun 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 dun. Callus Thorn Gauge. We have a character sheet, level 1 character. Let's quickly go to inventory because nothing is equipped. So we need to equip the chainmail. We equip the Shield, longbow. Oh, that's a longbow and a long sword. Okay. Easy enough to fix. Manage inventory. Long sword. And okay, fixed it. Easy enough. D&D Beyond just makes it so much easier. Alright, is shield, long sword, hand axe. Okay. So that's the inventory there. So now we've got the actions, long sword. Whack whack. Haha. Yeah. Damage. You know. Got some dice there. Okay. So that is it. This fight is pretty straightforward. Not too much spells, too much. I've got some racial magic coming through here. As I level up, they'll slowly appear, the Druidcraft, then the Fairy Fire, then finally the Enlarge, Reduce. Yeah, I'm definitely used to having some spells here. But it's nice having, when we've been playing a martial race, a race that doesn't normally get, class, I say, class that doesn't normally get magic. It's nice having a few spell options from the race or the a feat or something. Just a few extra tricks up your sleeve is always nice and appreciated. But yeah, so we got a strength, dex, con through the roof, and yeah, derp. So, oh, it's always fun to roleplay flaws and downsides. Like I had another campaign I play in where I have negative charisma, but I end up being the party face anyway and talking. And why people keep letting me talk? Stop it! No. And it's quite hilarious. Making those rolls to persuade people with my negative charisma. So yeah, there is fun and failure. So don't be afraid because of that. You know, is there ever truly winning in D&D? Yeah, it's all about the story and the fun. So yeah, play out those flaws and downsides is good fun. So yeah, so our fairy, the intention with this build then is to when we level up to level 3, we'll get the Rune Knight subclass that allows us to turn to large size, and that's when we start doing what we're here to do: push people over, grab them, and actually fly up with them. So having them pushed over gives us advantage and gives our teammates advantage while they're prone, and kind of lay into them. And yeah, you can fly them up, drop them, fly off cliffs, what have you, wrestle flying creatures to the ground. Yeah, and in level 5 we can go even bigger and just wrestle dragons and whatnot, no problem. As a flying giant suddenly. Yeah, which is pretty amusing. And we've got the strength and athletics to back it up, and I believe Rune Knight gives you advantage as well. So you are good to go. Should be pretty amusing. Is it any good? Maybe you get a few magic items to help fix some of their flaws here. Like if you're flying around, your AC's not great. Because they'll drop from that 19 it's got right now down to what, 14, 15? Oh, shield. Oh, decent, but yeah, not great. Anyway, that is our character, Callus Thorngage. He is now level 1 and good to go for starting an adventure. So we got the character sheet, got the backstory. You would share those with the Dungeon Master. And yeah, probably giving a heads up ideally on what your intention of your build is, in case you're like, no, I don't want that silliness in my game. I doubt it. But you know, nice to get a heads up there. And because we're all one team here, the Dungeon Master and the players. We're all just here to have fun, make sure everything's all good. Yeah, so that is how to make a character in D&D Beyond. And that is, yeah, so we got the backstory, and now we have the stats to back it up. All right. Yeah, if you like my videos, please hit that subscribe button so you can catch them all as they come out. Don't want to miss them. Hit that like button if you like this video in particular. Yeah, and expect more Wild Beyond the Witchlight content coming up very soon. All right, until next video, catch you around.